Can we talk?
Hello and welcome to the WNYG podcast. At the end of this podcast, you'll hear a bit of the interviews that was part of our service project we have done for the last couple of months, where we had some of our high school leadership team interview some of the staff around St. Andrew, just to learn a little bit more about their faith journey and kind of why they wanted to work at a church. Some other things, we want to give a huge shout out to Thrivent for sponsoring our podcast. Let's everyone give them a round of applause. Right? First official sponsor for ours, and our other sponsor is Super Chat. Yes, it's still in the youth room if you're into it. All right. In general, when you guys were doing any of the podcasts, I know we had a few people here that were able to get the podcast, so not the podcast, but the interviews. How did you feel when you got interviews? Who'd you interview? Talk a little bit about it. Lily?
I interviewed Zach Benz, the social media director.
Yeah.
I will say, a little hard to schedule with. a little difficult there. I was sitting in his office for quite some time, waiting for him to show up. Found him eating dinner. So that was quite interesting. But the interview went great. I feel like I had some good questions, got him thinking a little, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun to do. I had never done like an interview like that before, like a formal interview or anything. So that was interesting.
Yeah, that's super cool.
I would say the same thing. I'd never interviewed someone formally before, so that was really interesting. But my interview went great. I love Megan, and I just learned more about her, which I didn't really know, how the first time she came to camp, or that she'd known Pop-Tart that long, so that was interesting.
And I know you weren't able to do an interview, and I know you wanted to interview Tim. What kind of drew you to being even wanting to interview
Tim? We both really enjoy music. I mean, he does all the music at during the services and stuff, and he was helping me do a solo thing for that cabaret thing, and I was like, we got talking about college and music stuff, and I don't know, I thought it'd be really interesting just to see how he's connected to God through music and stuff, because I like it.
Yeah. Is that how you feel like you connect with God the most?
Yeah. I definitely that because I really like to sing. When I was at camp, I haven't been to camp in a while, but I feel like at campfire when we would all sing songs, I'd feel the most connected with the people and God.
Yeah. You don't even mind the bad singers around you at campfire?
Actually, I do have some opinions, but especially at school. But what? Okay. No, I think everyone has a beautiful voice.
I will let you force it. You don't have to force it too much.
Say it. I'll say it.
So the other thing that we worked on for this month of February was the paper drive. And so what were kind of your thoughts about just helping out with the paper drive? I know we did a little bit of social for it. Some of us spoke in front of the church. Kind of why do you think paper drives end up being kind of so important for the community?
Probably because it's easier to donate paper for most people, paper products and stuff too, because when we did the coat drive, it's harder to, find coats and hats and mittens that aren't completely destroyed or not usable anymore. So I feel with paper products, it's easier for people just to find stuff and be like, oh, I can donate this.
For sure. Yeah. For the most part, we're agreeing with that. Yeah, and that's all right. So my other kind of thought is that we have done a lot of service projects at this point. Each month, I mean, we started in October? October? Yeah.
I think it was November.
No, didn't we start? October. We started October with the hurricane relief, and we have done, 5 now officially? Wow. And so what have been some of your favorite ways you've learned how to serve other people?
I would say that my favorite one is probably the Hurricane Helene one, just because it was our first, which I feel is very special. And then I think also we heard the most feedback on that one. people in church would like come up to us and be like, oh, like, thank you so much for doing this, like, I donated, or like, my family's there and like we really appreciate it, which I feel like always like makes you feel better about like how you're impacting people.
I think my favorite also definitely was the hurricane. I think, like Lauren was saying, like, you could see it happening, like, in the church. And I feel like also, like, the promotion around that one, I think that we had was probably the best out of all of ours, because I think it was also something that's, like, easier for people to do. Like, you could just click a button, donate, like, that kind of thing. But, like, the promotion around it was really fun. I mean, like, I talked to church with Lauren the one time, and, like, that was a little wrecking, but, like, other than that, it was fun.
Yeah.
And, like, a lot of the pastors also, like, Pastor Peter talked about it a lot, and, like, a bunch of other people were talking about it, and, yeah, I think it was just, like, I don't know, it was cool to see, especially because it was our first one. Like, I didn't know what it was going to be like or anything like that, but it was fun. And we added the trunk or treat onto it, which was also really fun. So
Trunk or treat.
yes, the trunk or treat was so much fun.
I'm the banana. Oh, trust me, I know everything about Minion.
Anna, did you have one?
Definitely the hurricane one as well, because we could see that made a lot of impact on a lot of people, and it like was a really good cause, and we raised a lot of money, and it was very like exciting to see that something we put together could raise that much money and, you know, go to a cause. And also Feed My Starving Children was really fun because I always like doing it. I did mess up one box. I like messed up the counting, but we fixed it. Yeah, but I love, like, you know, giving back to like the people in need, and it's also fun because everyone's like, "Wait, we made a box." But yeah.
Well, and I don't think you guys are also giving yourself enough credit with the other things you've done, because like the coat drive was all your idea. No one influenced you to do the coat drive. 100% is like, hey, it's getting cold. People need coats, right? It's just really cool when people recognize they need help, because I don't think you see that enough in this world, when you just are able to recognize, hey, this is the time of year where people need help with this, right? Usually people tend to help when there's already a fire, or like, and that's a figurative fire. Or people only want to help when they can actually see the damage. But you guys went in front of the head and go, well, we don't want people to freeze. We know what winter was like. You know, we know winters gets cold. And so just having that forethought, having that idea is just really cool to hear. And I know you guys might not give yourselves enough credit, but not kids in high school, kids in college. They don't recognize that sometimes until a little later in life. So I always say, give yourself a lot of credit. Why do you think service is such an important part of being like a Lutheran? Specifically like a Christian Lutheran. Why do you think service is so ingrained?
Well, like looking back in the Bible and like some of the stories we heard like when we were back in like Sunday school and stuff, I feel like because Jesus gave back a lot as well, like with the fish and the bread, you know, that one.
Multiply.
Yeah, multiply. We can kind of, he was always like giving back to the community and helping people, and I feel like for me personally, like giving back to the community and like helping someone out, even if it's like something small, like if my friend needs help on like a homework, I'm happy to help because it will help them, you know, get a better grade. And well, sometimes I don't know what I'm doing, but it's I don't know, it just raises people's spirits and it just makes me feel better.
Yeah.
I think like you were saying, like I feel like it's something that's been built in to like Sunday school and confirmation and like Fuse or Bible Blasters or whatever it's called now. But like
Blasters.
I loved Bible Blasters.
Oh, the table we'd sit under.
But it was like, I feel like service is just something that's like constantly been built into so many different like steps or like stages of like being in church, and so I feel like it's something that's like been ingrained since the beginning. And so I think it's just like something that is like a core belief or like a core value that like at least I feel like is something that I've been said or been told like is good and something that should be a core value from the beginning.
Yeah, I agree with like literally everything Lily said, and then I don't know if I'm like just thinking of this, but I feel like there's something that's like help thy neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I heard that so much growing up, so then I was like, okay, like I have the time and I have the resources, so like I should help people, which I feel like also inspires other people once they see like, oh wow, like this made a huge difference. And I feel like it's kind of just like a spread through the church.
Yeah. And I want to ask a tough question, so I'll let you guys kind of think about it. But why do you think people stop doing service towards others? Or why do you think people stop helping others? What do you think it is about growing up and getting a little bit older where service becomes a little less important in people's lives? Like I was reading a study showing that like service overall is down for people like my age. So like your young adults, your younger millennials essentially. And so it was just something interesting I thought where, we go to a church and we constantly, us as a group, are always doing service projects, but eventually sometimes people stop doing a little less service as they grow older. Do you guys have any thoughts of why people might?
Well, kind of thinking about it, like, I know, like, with young adults and stuff, like, coming out of college, usually in college, you don't really go, like, my sister didn't really go to church that often because, you're, like, in a different state and you don't really know the community that well and you don't know, like, how they, like, function, I guess. It's different when you grow up with a church and going to a whole new church. But also when you like come out of college, it's like you're finally living on your own and it's like you don't have a community or like a church telling you like you need to go like do service, I think. And also like you got to just figure out like what's going on too. Like I would love to in my future to keep doing service and stuff, but it might be tricky with like getting a job and coming out of college, living on your own. It might just not fit in people's schedules. But also, I feel like some people forget about it too because they get so busy. It's not like on the front of their mind.
For sure.
That's what I was gonna say. So.
I think kind of adding on like the time part of it, like it's an excuse. Like it's a bad excuse, but like as like I feel like you get older, there's more things that you have going on, like finding a job or starting a family or things like that, where it's just like there's a lot more that could be added onto your plate, and sometimes it could feel like things start falling off of that plate. And like also with the connection of your church, like the transition from being somewhere so often and like going there once a week and then moving away from that and then not knowing where to go from that point because you don't know the community and you don't know what the churches around that area are going to be like. You don't know any of that. Like you don't know the people, and so that kind of I feel like the loss of community or the loss of the sense of community can also be really difficult to be like, I want to go help these people, but I used to do this with this group of people and now I don't have that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so that also I feel like is a reason.
Yeah.
And I feel like also like if you go like to another state, like you might not have the same community you had, so you don't even really know where to start. Mm-hmm. Which like I feel like it's harder to like go out and find something on your own rather than like if you were in a group.
It's also scary too. Like I mean, just thinking about college and like where I want to go. I mean, where I want to go is like closer to Minnesota.
Yeah.
Like I want to go to Luther, for example. But it's tricky because it's like you're away from your parents, like your first time living on your own. You might be in a new state, you might be like far away, like maybe even in a different country, and it's hard to. You're thinking about so many other things. Mm-hmm. I feel like it just goes to the back of your mind.
Yeah. And I think that's okay, right? When you recognize that you're taking this big leap and this big and this whole new, some would say a whole new schedule in order just to find out kind of a little bit more about yourself. And let's start with what you guys are kind of talking about, this finding new community, right? Like this year in WNYG, we've had quite a lot of people join and try to find a new community here. And whether they are members here and they've been to, camp, or they've been to confirmation and then they're now showing up, or sometimes they're just getting invited by a friend of anything.
I would say like opening up, or like, I know Caleb talks about a lot, but like sharing your story, because I feel like once you hear that from other people, then you're more comfortable like telling the people in that community. And then also I feel like it connects you on like another level with the people. Like I feel like in youth group, like I've made so many more connections like once I've gotten to know them more. But like that also, you have to open up to be able to like share those things about yourself. So yeah.
Also just like it's scary. I feel like for example, like when I started high school, I didn't know anyone because I was in a different district. But you gotta like branch out, I feel like, and if you're like be honest with each other, you don't want to like create a lie and be like, yeah, I'm this and that, but you really aren't, because then people have a different perspective on you. And also just be more like what you were saying, Lauren, being more open and more accepting. I mean, it's definitely different. WMIG is different for me because for the past like 3 years, it's been like 5 people.
Yeah.
And then this year it's like 5,000. And I haven't been able to connect with a ton of people because I've been so busy. And I will say it's scary because it's like we're all like, when it was like the 5 people of us, we were all like super connected and we knew each other super well because we basically like grew up with each other, I feel like. So it's definitely like different. It's definitely different going into it now, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But it's scary, right? When it's a familiar place that also feels new at the same time. And that's what more people add to a community,
Mhm.
right? Lily, did you want to expand a little?
I think like, I don't know if we kind of mentioned it, but like the feeling of being welcome, like in a community, like I think so much of it is just like if you feel welcome and you feel like happier when you're with the community. And like here, like it was just like an automatic like, this is like my group, my people kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, because also I grew up with so many of the people when I started my freshman year, like started coming here my freshman year, it was just like an automatic kind of thing. And I feel like from my perspective, it's just kind of been like other people are joining it kind of thing. And like I am very welcome to these kind of people. Like,
Yeah.
But also like it's also becoming these people's place and their happy place and their people and that kind of thing. And like it's cool to watch that happen because it's something that I hold so close to my heart and like love so much, and watching other people also be able to grow into that position is like it's so heartwarming to see.
It can also be like kind of scary too, because it's like, it's for like example, when it was literally just like us, but like let's just say it was like us 3, because it kind of was. But we like could rely on each other for so much, and it was like it was just a whole different like vibe, because it's I don't know, but it's scary for people coming in, also for us too, I feel like, because it's like everyone has to adjust and everyone has to welcome each other in, and it's going to be different, but it's a good different too.
Yeah. And I think that's such a cool thing to just experience about how communities do that. Whether it is a community you're used to, or a community you're used to that's new, or even like when you go off to college and it's a brand new community, right? It's all a little bit overwhelming. It's all a little bit scary, but at the same time, it's all a little bit pretty and beautiful of how it can happen, how a community takes like a natural kind of the community kind of takes a natural turn like that. And now I want us focus a little bit more on like what does it mean, do you think, to have like a community centered around Christ? Right? We have our school community. We sometimes have, for Anna, you have your theater and your choir community.
Yeah.
Lauren, you have your golf community. No, Lily, you have your sports communities that you're a part of, track and field. And so it's all of these different little communities that we have. What is it about a Christ-centered community you think feels different?
Yeah, well, you can go first if you want.
I think that, like, when I think of a Christ-centered community, I don't necessarily think of, like, meeting in a church, but I think of people who, like, consecutively are worshiping Christ. And it's different ways, like, that it's shown, but, like in sports, like, yes, there are other people who that, like, also are Christian and worship Christ, but I wouldn't consider that a faith-centered community.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't know if this other person, like, supports or is a part of the same religion that I am, or this other person, or I don't know what other people's, like, beliefs are in all of my sports.
Yeah.
Because I just don't. Like, that's not what people are there to do.
Yeah.
And so when I think of what is the term you're using?
Like a Christ-centered community. You can say a faith-centered community. It's all the same thing. I'm just used to using that word because it's
a Christ-centered community. I think, like, when I think of that, I think of here. Like, I think of youth group. I think of confirmation. I think of, like, when I was in choir and spirit singers and sunshine singers, like, that kind of thing. Or, like, Sunday school on Sundays. Like, or going to church. Like, that's what I think of as a Christ-centered community. And, you can have other Christ-centered communities that are in other communities that you're a part of.
Yeah.
In my mind, I don't really associate those with a Christ-centered community because in my head, they're separate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like there is a different feel from both of those.
Different structure.
Yes, it's a different structure, but, like, it's a different kind of welcoming from a Christ-centered community, because it's like everybody is here to do the same thing, to have the same goals, to grow their faith. And that's, like, I feel like it's a different sense of welcoming because everybody is welcoming.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And not that sports teams aren't welcoming.
Yeah.
They are. But I feel like it's a deeper level.
Yeah. Maybe a different goal.
Yes, it's a different goal. I think also it's a different level of understanding of everybody in your community.
Yeah.
Because when you're in a sport, like, yes, you have those conversations, but it's not with everybody in that community. It's with certain people in that community.
Yeah.
But in a Christ-centered community, I feel like I'm able to have a conversation and a deeper understanding of everybody because everybody is having different conversations with each other.
Yeah.
And it's like everybody talks to each other, like everybody knows each other. Like their faces, at least. Like, I don't know everyone's names here. I'm trying, but, like, doing my best.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with, like, all of that, and then also adding on, I feel like it's like in other communities that aren't really centered around Christ, I feel like you never really know what people, like, think of religion, so, like, you might, like, try and, like, hide it more just because you don't want to be, like, perceived. Like, I feel like some people kind of just group it, like, for example, like, Catholic and Lutheran, I feel like they group it together sometimes, and then they're just like, oh, like, you have a strict lifestyle, or, like, you do this, and I'm like, well, like, that might not apply to everyone, so then you're more hesitant to, like, not give your full, like, personality or full self to everyone in that community, whereas I feel like in a Christ-based community, I feel like you're more, like, open to everyone.
Yeah.
To add on to what you, Lauren and Lily is saying, it's like, for me, I don't go around school saying you need to worship God. There are some people out there, and I applaud you for going out and, spreading the Lord God's word. But for me personally, it's like I keep it more to myself because I know, like, in my friend group, everyone's from something different.
Mhm.
Like, I have friends that went to, let's say, like St. Hubert's, for example, which is like a Catholic school in the Chan area, and some people who just don't believe in God either. And it's like I'm accepting of everything, and it's like it's not my place to say like you need to worship God. So that's why with like if I'm in theater or choir, which I am, I'm not gonna. It's a different feeling. It's like when I'm with. Sorry, this is like really bad, but with like there's a Bible study group that I'm in at my school, and everyone. I don't know a lot of the people, like not a lot of them are in my classes, but it's like it's a different structure, and everyone's there to do the same thing, kind of what you guys were saying, and it's more like faith centered, and it's more like kind of one goal, and like what you were saying, the grow your faith, and it's different than putting on tap shoes and going to sing and do a dance number in the auditorium, which is because I had to do that. But yeah, like it. Trust me, like if you've never been in one, the vibe's definitely different, but it's a good vibe.
Yeah, right. And I think that is, it's just always interesting to hear when people talk about what a faith community means to them, what their different communities mean to them. I think that's why we all have so many different communities we end up being a part of. Whether, it's here, it's there, or it's, or sometimes it's just your family community at the end of the day too. I just wanted to do more of a fun question. So, a little less serious, a little more fun. But like, what is the scariest thing that's happened to you recently? Does anyone have any like?
I got one.
Anna, do you have a story?
I have a story. I just want to put out there, PSA. Change lanes if you're next by a cop car on the side of the road. Okay? Because let's just say hypothetically, you went past the cop car, but no one was like on the side of the road with a cop car, and it was just like the lights flashing. You thought it was safe, so you went ahead, and then all of a sudden the cop car comes behind your car, and you're like, huh, weird. And then you go past the light, and all of a sudden, lights are on, and you're on the side of the road with a cop. And let's just say all these coincidences were happening, and all these kind of bad omens were coming, and I was like, and then the cop leaves back to the car to check something. He comes back, and there's two people in the car sobbing and saying, "We've never done this before." Let's just say that. Hypothetically, that would be scary.
That's a great hypothetical story. We want to put that into just make sure all the listeners knew that was all hypothetical.
It's just like a theory.
Wasn't real.
Hypothetically, that may have happened to someone else.
What?
It's this leadership group.
Are you being
Not me.
Hypothetically.
This is good that all these hypotheticals are coming out.
Okay, anyways. The scariest thing that happened to me is freak out.
Ooh.
Literally, I can't. I'm not going to share my score because I just can't share it on the podcast. But let's just say it's going to take
We all make mistakes.
Yeah, what's with letters and numbers? They don't go together.
They don't. They really don't.
It's not even
What's
the
with
number.
function?
The radicals.
A function?
The radicals and the fractions. I don't understand what you.
When I think of radical, I think of the song. He's a radical god.
The other day, maybe I'm just like, boom.
It's sad.
I just want to say I'm really lucky I'm not in what is it,
Greek calculus.
Green Cal. Sorry.
Not even calculus. Not even calculus.
My teacher keeps talking about calculus, and I'm like, bro, I'm not taking this. Why are you preparing me?
There's 4 people at my table, right? And someone goes, so you're all juniors, right? And I was like, actually, I'm a junior. And he goes, so did you like not take math next year? And I was like, I did. They're like, why is everyone judging me?
No, why are people judging?
There's like, what,
Hey,
4
why are
seniors
people
in
judging?
the class and the rest are juniors? I'm like, hey, guys.
Guys, you should not be judged because I'm in intermediate algebra 2, and it's mainly seniors in there because
Well, that's
don't know why.
good for you.
No, but we're learning about exponents and the big alligator and the little alligator eats the other
I don't even
ones.
know what those mean, and that was like,
What
and
is it
also,
called?
like y equals mx plus b. I'm working on that right now.
we did that.
And I don't even have to take FTS or calc because I have
FST? They call it something else. They call it FTS.
FTS, yeah. I get to take algebra 2 next year, so senior year algebra.
Okay.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Lily's.
Yeah.
I have one scary thing that's happening,
Hypothetical,
but I have one
Yeah.
to add on about driving, and it is become
hypothetically.
my new motto. No, I have a new motto.
Okay.
Okay. First, starting with the scary thing. I'm not gonna name names because I just specifically don't know this person's name, but
It's not a fake name.
in my gourmet food class, there's quite a scary thing where this kid refuses to wash the dishes with soap and hot water. He washes the dishes with cold water.
No.
And that's it. And doesn't use his sponge. He uses his hands. He uses his hands.
Boy, don't even play with me right
He's
now.
like, it's clean. I'm like, no, it's not. It's not clean.
Have you heard of germs, bacteria?
It's not clean.
Now I know
water?
why everyone's sick in the school.
Literally. It's also, oh my
It's all from
Scary.
gourmet.
Another having an 103 degree fever. I woke up Saturday morning. I had a fever of 103 degrees.
Yikes.
When I had pneumonia, it was 104. That was genuinely no. I'm not. I just
Okay, because I got things going on.
anyway. I'm not.
I'm out. For that reason, I'm out. Sharks.
Anyway,
So I'm out.
just coughs to the mic. Sneezes.
My brother is really sick, and I feel bad because I gave it to him.
Are you sick?
No, not anymore. Well, like,
Okay,
probably,
pinky
but
promise.
it's
Actually, don't touch me.
It's just in our body. Not.
Well, I'm pretty sure I had walking pneumonia or whooping cough.
I've had walking
Everyone
pneumonia.
says last
Walking pneumonia.
and I'm still on
I
month.
had to have steroids and inhalers for
My
like
brother had
two
an
months
inhaler.
because I couldn't breathe when walking. I would start coughing and I wouldn't be able to breathe. That's another scary
Have
thing.
you ever had a mild mono?
No.
No.
Well, let's just say me and hypothetically.
How'd you get it? How'd you get it? Hypothetically.
This is a church podcast.
This is church only.
Okay.
Hypothetically, let's just say you and your friend went to go get Chick-fil-A milkshakes. The other person's milkshake looked really good, and you really wanted to try that milkshake. So you're like, please I don't want spit in that straw. And they promised that there was no spit. Had a little sip. It was really good. Next day, both get sick. Both have all the symptoms of mono. So
I brought you brownies when you had it.
this is a hypothetical. This is hypothetical.
It's all hypothetical.
I brought you brownies. That's my motto.
Oh yeah. Lily's driving motto.
Okay, this is my new thing. So instead of when somebody does something stupid while driving, instead of like getting mad at them, when they drive past, I'm just gonna start giving them thumbs down. Because listen,
Cry if someone did that
here's
to
the
me.
thing, it's literally the definition of I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. And it has become my new life motto. Because here's the thing, I'm done getting mad at people for something that is so stupid. I'm just gonna start being disappointed.
That's fair.
Because here's the thing, if somebody tells you that they're angry at you, it hits a little hard, right? But if somebody tells you they're disappointed in you, that hits so much deeper. And honestly, if somebody was doing something annoying, and I was like, I'm disappointed that you're doing it right now, you're in high school, you're washing dishes without soap,
That is crazy to me.
they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it because here's the thing. Someone being disappointed in
I would
you
feel
is so much more mad than someone being angry at you. It's becoming my new thing. So I'm just going to start giving thumbs down. I almost gave a thumbs down to this truck today because they didn't accelerate fast enough because they had an old truck and it didn't go fast enough for my new car.
That's a trend.
And they got all mad because they got stuck behind me. And then when the lanes went too, they sped up and I looked over and I didn't give a thumbs up. I haven't started doing this yet, but I'm gonna.
Putting it out there. Yeah, Lauren?
Okay. Also, I've been wanting to say this. I'm a great driver, okay? I've only been honked at like a couple times. Why does it feel like someone's yelling at you? Like, I feel so, like, I'll sit in my car for like 5 minutes after just driving and I'm like, I'm just like, I don't know what to do. Like, I feel like someone just like screamed at me and got mad.
So,
but like, I didn't do
I
anything.
have another hypothetical story.
Oh God.
I feel like
So let's just say another hypothetical. Let's just say that you were leaving your friend's house and you realize, oh, I can't go, and it's 2 lanes. It's like you either go left, you go straight, or you go right, and it's like going onto an intersection but not a highway, you know what I mean? And you realize that you're in the wrong section, and if you go, you're gonna go into construction, and you're in the wrong lane because there's other cars blocking you. So when it's clear, you turn right when it should be straight, and this other car does again, this is hypothetical, and you speed off because you stopped, and then you speed off, and then you kind of like duck in your car, and like he comes up to you, but slows down, stops purposely, rolls down the window. This hypothetically, let's just say I didn't roll down the window. And let's just say this guy hypothetically said, "What are you doing? Like, learn how to drive." And let's just say
that's where you be disappointed.
Hypothetically, I would slump down in my seat, and I quietly would just said, you know, I don't know, I'm sorry. And
that's a situation. That's a situation you choose to be disappointed, not angry. Okay.
I absolutely love talking about these hypothetical stories that definitely did not happen.
These did not happen.
Just being able to share silly stories. And I also think that's just an important part of a community. Being not only, this is part of vulnerability, and this is what a big lesson for anyone to learn. Vulnerability doesn't have to be just talking about all the hard things that have happened to you. It doesn't have to be all of the negative things that happen to you. Sometimes it's just a silly story and just sharing kind of the experiences you have day to day. Thrivent, we hope that you don't regret supporting our podcast.
Yeah, thank you for this sponsor.
Yes, we appreciate the sponsor. Please, after we're done talking here, we should have on after this is just a few interviews from the staff at St. Andrews. So anyone have any last words of wisdom?
Be a good driver on the road. Again, hypothetical.
Be disappointed, not mad.
Don't yell at teenagers that literally don't know what they're doing. Okay?
Be happy also. Be happy.
If someone's doing singing Valentine's hypothetically and you're doing the singing Valentine's, don't be embarrassed that you're sitting up on a stool when people are singing at you. The singers should be embarrassed, and hypothetically, let's just say I was embarrassed a little bit.
Well, we thank you for listening to our podcast. We hope you have a good rest of your day.
All right, I'm Kate. I'm here with Pastor Peter, and I'm just going to interview him about some of his faith journey and some of his outlooks on life. So, if we can get into it. How are you?
I'm good, Kate. Thanks for having me here this afternoon. It's Tuesday afternoon here. And it's a beautiful sun. I had to shut the blinds because it's coming in.
Warm.
And it's warm out. It's like
45.
45.
It's
I can't
really
wait
great
to be outside. Yeah.
I know. The wind is like warm. It was really cold this morning, bracing, and then this walking in here, I was like, wow.
It makes such a huge difference to know that the rest of that there's just a little bit more moderation. I totally agree. It's the best.
All right, well, if you want to jump right into it, I just was going to start with just people know you as senior pastor, but what do you do outside of church? What do you do for fun? What are some things that people don't know about you?
Well, thanks. Yeah. So, there's a lot more about us than maybe what we see up front, and what we try to do in a lot of ways here at St. Andrew is make sure that people can learn a little bit about us here and there, and when we preach or when we tell stories, my boys, talk about the stories that become sermon illustrations and those kinds of things. Everything is sermon fodder in a way.
Yeah.
But we live in Edina, so we've been there for 12, 13 years now. Our boys all went to through the Edina school system. Before we were in Egypt, and but that's where we moved into, and then I got a call here. So we love our house. We've been there for like I said, 12 years, and I like to do projects around the house sometimes that kind of give me some satisfaction. And so I'm a project doer around the house. Some bigger projects and littler projects. So construction and those kinds of things. We have our three boys, of course, have always been great. We now are empty nesters,
That's
though.
congrats.
Thank you. But a lot of course, life is spent, enjoying everything that the kids were doing in high school, and now we go to colleges, Gustavus and Duluth, to go and enjoy what they're up to.
Yeah.
So love that. But right now it's just Michelle and me and Cooper. We were just talking about our four-year-old yellow lab here before we started recording, and he's on his own little running around the neighborhood here with Michelle, my wife, but I also like to read. But I'm also a bread baker. Did you know that too?
Did you really?
Yeah. So
Like sourdough? What are we thinking?
So
What are we talking?
about 15, 20 years ago or so, a member of one of the churches that I served, Pat is his name, and Michelle, my wife, they got together. He is a bread baker and a Minnesota State Fair award-winning
Oh.
bread baker.
Okay.
And so they got together and did a little Christmas or birthday gift for me, saying that there's a bread baking session that I could do with Pat. And so he bought me one of these chef's hats, and I went over to his house and we baked. But I probably over the course of the last 20 years, have baked thousands of loaves of bread.
Wow.
The boys love it. I got lots of different recipes. And
Yeah.
in fact, during the pandemic, we started these escape groups here at St. Andrew. And so I did bread baking classes with Pat over Zoom with people in their own kitchens all
awesome.
around the country. We had about 35 to 40 people every time. And we just baked different recipes at different times of the year. We did about 7 or 8 of these. And Pat and I would gather in my kitchen. And then everyone else in their own kitchens would bake. So it's about a 4-hour
Yeah.
time process to go from beginning to end, and we'd log off and log back in. So baking bread is really awesome.
That's
it's fun
awesome.
to share.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like a nice piece of fresh bread?
Everyone likes some bread. Maybe
Bread is
like
awesome.
gluten-free people, but
Yeah, there's a little bit of those people that I don't really
Yeah.
understand.
it's I don't really know that it's a
So,
choice, so that's
yeah.
unfortunate for them.
Yeah, I'm a sports fan too, so
Yeah.
I follow Minnesota sports teams too. So go to Twins games.
Yeah.
Probably is the most common sport I go to, but I'll watch the Vikings win and then lose.
And they lose.
And they lose. So
Yeah.
So yeah, I
Awesome.
do that too.
All right. Well, I'll just jump right in here. I was
Uh-huh.
wondering kind of if you could share with our listeners a little bit of like where your faith journey kind of started, like how you sort of like learned about Lutheranism, and then like going into like when did you start to be kind of active in your faith? Like there's a lot of younger people who I work a lot with, like middle schoolers with confirmation and with camp. So like
Yeah.
a lot of people who maybe are like practicing like Christians and Lutherans but aren't actually like intentional about their faith. So I'm kind of
Yeah.
wondering about like where that started for you.
Where that started for me. Well, like some people, I grew up with my parents taking me to church. So there was that early stages of life that I remember from my earliest years. And so this was way back in San Antonio, Texas, where I was in my I was born in San Angelo, but we moved from there when I was 2. So I don't really have I don't have any memory of San Angelo, but San Antonio I do. And I remember that church was just a real important fabric of life for us. A lot of this had to do with the fact that my dad was the pastor and my mom was the organist. And so I was kind of rigged in that way, in the sense that a lot of our life really did go around what the patterns were of church life and routines. And so I do have these old memories of San Antonio. I was there from 2 until 8 years old. So if you can remember back to those years, those are probably when your first memories were as well. And so that's certainly what I remember. So for me, it was just the gift of kind of playmates and friendships and community in a way. And so with my dad being a pastor in all the cities we lived in growing up, and my mom being a church musician and other duties and other things that she loved doing, I was always involved with people who shared a church in the church community. So my buddies were church related. The people I hung out with on Wednesday nights or weekends, played basketball with, or fast pitch softball in high school, or just heading over to the arcade to play video games or something. So we didn't have computers back then. They were all church people.
Yeah.
All church people. So from the Adam Branvold to the Paul Myries to the Mike Fritz, who actually I was just in touch with here as well. So I would say that a lot of my earliest memories, Kate, about my faith life wasn't so dynamically deeply theological, but more so just a place where I felt like I belonged.
Yeah.
I was with people. I was with a shared group. We had fun together, and so it was just part of who I was. It wasn't until later on when I started saying to myself, okay, so Peter, why is it that you are really connected here at a church?
Yeah.
What are the things about it that are that keep you coming back? And maybe there is more than just the relationships and friendships that you have. And that's really when kind of a deeper understanding of something that I always had there. It was always part of who I was, but then I was getting a little bit more public, I guess, in the sense of coming to terms with what was important to me.
Awesome.
So it's a pretty simple beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like most people, you just have the routine, and then all of a sudden you're like, wait.
Yeah, I never got
it.
up and preached sermons. I never felt comfortable doing that.
Really?
I was never part of. I was always involved. Like here at church, we'll do youth Sundays, or like our Worship Young. We have Sunday school kids help and do things, and so I was always up front. I never wanted to just sit in the pew. Actually, I was always one that wanted to usher or acolyte, or help out with serving in kind of the fellowship areas and things like that. Just to sit there and worship was one thing, but I also just like to do things, and so I just made myself useful.
Yeah.
In those
participation
times.
guy.
Participation, yeah.
Yeah. So if you weren't really into the whole giving a sermon, how did you get here? What pushed you to go to seminary? What pushed you to be a pastor, and then be where you are now?
I think when I was in college then, Kate, so this was back in the late 80s and early 90s, I think there came a time when I was in college. I didn't major in religion, which most pastors don't, frankly. They're involved, that I know of, they're English majors, or they're humanities, some science. It's all strokes, all different kinds of folks that feel the call and are part of it. But it was in the college years where I suddenly was told, and as we all get to that point in college, what are you going to do when you graduate?
Yeah.
And this was probably sophomore and junior year when I was like, wow, yeah, I really do need to really try this on for size and really think and pray about it. And so I think it was later on in my college years that all this background that I'd been steeped in, became kind of more and more valuable to me, and spirituality was really something that I thought a lot about and wondered a lot about for other people too.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking in terms even of Christianity necessarily, but I grew up overseas for many years of my life, and so I was really intrigued in how Muslims think, how the religion of Islam functions and works, and I still it was a part of my comparing of my tradition and another tradition, which was always really rich for me to have two traditions to look at together and to have my own, but then to have my neighbor's tradition and try to understand them, because I would like people to get along with each other. I think too that's part of my nature, and so Christians and Muslims haven't always gotten along together, and so this was really important for me. In college, I was into diversity and wanted to understand those things,
Yeah.
But then when I graduated from college, then I managed to find a position at at an Anglican or Church of England pilgrimage center in Jerusalem, in Jerusalem, in Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went right after college. I went and worked for 8 months at a center that traveled around in the footsteps of Jesus. So I had this rich background in the church and heard a lot of sermons and confirmed, and was part of the youth group and a leader in the youth group, and and doing projects, going to national youth gatherings as well. All those things that we do here at St. Andrew. But then I had a chance to be in the Holy Land and to go to where Jesus lived, or where he walked, or where the miracles were performed, and I went to the Holy Sepulchre where Jesus was crucified, and I was around all these pastors, because this pilgrimage center had a lot of Anglican priests that were part of it, and their spouses and so forth, and I resolved when I was there that I would just apply to be at Luther Seminary.
That's awesome.
While I was there. Yeah.
Wow.
And started working on my applications while I was there, because I thought it just dawned on me that I wanted to be part of things.
Yeah, that's
The other experience that I had there too was the Palestinian Christian community.
Mm-hmm.
So we have an American Lutheran church here, that is obviously American. It's in St. Andrew here in Eden Prairie. But I really appreciated getting to know the Palestinian Lutheran community too.
Yeah.
In its context, so that was shaping for me, and how important community was for the Christians in the Middle East, and especially for Palestinians that were living in the West Bank and dealing with the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and there's a lot of hard feelings and a lot of feelings of repression and a hopelessness when it came to the political, social sphere of things. But faith had a way of giving the church an identity and a hope for the future.
That's awesome.
And I'd never seen that really happen in a context where I'd never lived in a place, Kate, where I felt as though my life was being impacted so dramatically by things that were outside of my control.
Yeah.
I'd lived a pretty comfortable life, we do here in America in a lot of ways, but when you really need your faith to step out strong, the Palestinians, their Christian faith really generates hope and love and commitment to each other, and to God that was really shaping for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. What are I'm personally just curious about were there any significant differences between the Lutheran Church with it for Palestinians versus here, or was it pretty much the same, just a different country?
Yeah, well, so we're all call ourselves Lutheran, and so so we have that as our identity. One of the things that was different, of course, is the Arabic language and the English language, and so all Palestinians speak English. Few Americans speak Arabic, and myself included. So I had just learned enough to get along in the markets and the grocery stores when I lived there. But one was the language side of things. But the other thing too, I think, is just simply the call that the Palestinians felt from God, that God is truly present with them, and the hope that they had for justice in the world, that things would be put right in their lives. And so they just had a lot of things that they felt were not right with their lives, in the sense that they were living under what they called an Israeli occupation, a military occupation. And we don't have enough time to go into too much detail about that here now, but living in the West Bank, it was occupied by the Israelis, and so the Palestinians felt like they were under the thumbs of an outside authority. Faith, though, was a place where justice and the hope for justice, that things would be made right. That God likes to make things right for people who are going through hard times. that was really, really vital for Palestinians in a social, political context. So it was really shaping for me too,
Yeah.
in that sense. Yeah.
That's really interesting. My passion lies within like international relations and
Uh-huh.
political science and stuff like that. And so it's always interesting to me living with it's kind of operates in my head with two separate spheres of myself, with my faith and with my love for politics and everything. But
Yeah.
I love when there's situations where you can analyze both as like how they interact with each other and how like the political climate of the world can
Yeah.
like be shaped by faith, or how faith can shape, you know what I mean?
It's very contextual, right?
Mhm.
And so how we live and what we experience shapes how God speaks to us and
Yeah.
how God shapes us. It's very it's very, very true and very powerful how that brings hope in its own context. I think in our own context here, for instance, if we think about America, there are a lot of things that I can place my hope in America.
Yeah.
I have a good job, and so I have a very nice salary that I'm grateful for. You know, I have a retirement savings like I do at my age and stage, and so and several years from now, when Michelle and I want to take away a time and retire, I can just simply say, "Yep, I want to start drawing from that." But that's my American white collar context where my faith nestles into. But if I live in Israel, Palestine, and I'm a Palestinian there, I maybe haven't had a very good job. There isn't very good health care because of the circumstances of that area.
Yeah.
And I don't have a pension in the same way that I do here. And so faith nestles into that role in a place in a different way
Yeah.
as well. You know, I mean, people just rely on it in a little bit of a different and stronger ways. And so faith does shape the culture does shape faith.
Yeah.
And the faith also shapes the culture too. I think it goes both ways.
It goes both ways. And there's
for sure.
hope in all of it, which is
There sure is hope in all of it. We hear where God comes alongside us, and that's also really truly what I believe is that God comes alongside us, whatever our circumstances. Yeah.
I think moving a little bit away from that, I feel like lots of people, especially around my age, view pastors as like just like your faith is perfect and unchallenged and just like this like untouchable, like maybe like a rock in your life kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I was wondering just if you've ever experienced ways where your faith has been tested, maybe not recently or maybe like just in any example that you can come up with of just like ways where you've had to persevere within your faith and really like affirm what you believe.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good question and a place of real importance in terms of where we all live our lives, and we all have our confidences as well as vulnerabilities in the twists and turns of life that are part of it. I mean, this podcast is meant to talk about some of those journeys, and I really do think journeys is optimal word for the life of faith. So, and I appreciate how too pastors sometimes can be put up on a pedestal, you know, and the image I'd rather refer to a pastor as someone who walks alongside rather than someone that's up on a pedestal.
Yeah.
Because I've lived a life just like everyone else too, and so and a lot of that is going through circumstances that are challenging or inspiring, but both in the same way. So, I mean, I can think back to times like in Michelle's, if I go way back, Kate, I remember once when I was it was when we lived in Egypt when I was a boy.
Yeah.
I can remember when you hear stories about how people how they can feel the Spirit's presence with them, and it becomes like a physical feeling of like just being loved and encompassed by goodness and mercy. I had a 3-day period when I was in like late elementary school, maybe early junior high, maybe 6th grade, fifth grade or so, where I had like a 3 or 4 day period where I just kind of had like a real feeling of being engulfed.
Yeah.
It was lovely.
Mhm.
It didn't last forever.
No.
But it kind of came and it went. It's not an experience that everybody has.
Mhm.
But I personally, in terms of my faith story, it was one of those like wow moments, right? But I would also say too that even early in our marriage too, there was a time when Michelle and I were expecting a baby, and we lost the baby before it came to term, before it was old enough to survive. So we just had one of those awful miscarriages, so to speak. And Christian was 17 weeks along, which is too young to survive after birth, but old enough certainly to be, loved by his dad and his mom. And I can remember Michelle and me, both, in a moment of what just happened here, and why did this happen to us? What did we do wrong? Did we do anything wrong in this? And how ultimately, though, we were able to and got good comfort and care from friends and from pastors and things to reassure us, and to give us comfort. It was really hard.
Yeah.
That was a really hard experience for us. Yeah. And so we have 3 boys that are alive, that have one's through college and 2 in college, like I said, but we have our first.
Yeah.
And so when we, for instance, hang our Christmas ornaments up at Christmas time, we have a couple of Christmas ornaments with Christian on it, which was his name, and just kind of reminds us of a time that was not so pleasureful or joyful, but a time when, though, we really felt in the end, that Michelle and I got really close and bonded, and God was helping us.
Yeah.
So.
I feel like a lot of people will go through things like, not obviously like exactly like that all the time, but just things that really test your faith and really. Yeah. I've definitely had moments where you wonder like, oh, like why did this happen, and like what could I have done better? What could I have how could I have prevented this? Because you just like in that moment you have no control.
Right. You don't.
And we as humans find control.
And then the issue of how do we, it's one thing to look backward in retrospect, right?
Yes.
When we look back on those moments, Kate, and when we can say, I was really in a hard place, but now I am. But it's another thing just to be in those places where it's like, I don't know the way out.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I'm just stuck. And that's also real too.
Yeah.
That's part of life. And that's one of the times when we just needed some time to get unstuck.
Yeah.
And that was a little, as you can tell, I get a little emotional about thinking about it again, which is also life as well,
For sure.
So as I pull a Kleenex out here and take care of myself here, so.
Well, I thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Kind of shifting gears with that, what are ways that you strengthen your faith? Obviously, it's your job to be surrounded by God and talk about Jesus and his teachings, all these things. But outside of that, or including that, how do you, what are ways that you strengthen your own faith and interact with God and with prayer, and what factors in your life contribute to strengthening your faith, family or different maybe personal practices or things?
For me, and it's always been the case, that I like to do my faith in a corporate environment, a lot too. So I do it personally too, but I do really appreciate what it means to be part of a community. And so here at St. Andrew and the other places that I've served, I may be leading a study that I'll do tomorrow in the Gospel of John here tomorrow morning at 8. But I get a lot of encouragement from people around me who are also sharing what they know and what they understand. We have a Thursday study as well called the Amen Effect right now, and the people are really great. They come at it from, we read the book and talk about the book, and it's about showing up, about how when we say Amen at the end of a prayer, it's like a make it so or make it happen, and how faith has a way of propelling us forward. In this book is written by a rabbi, in this case actually, who's talking about spirituality. But I like being with a group of people because it helps keep me going, keeps me fed, keeps me hearing different perspectives. So I love that a lot. I also just like personally just my quiet moments. And so I do think that there are, I've got a couple of chairs or sofas in the house, that are nice quiet spots that if in the mornings especially is when I'm kind of freshest and most crisp, I guess, in my own thinking. I'm not a late night person. I'm much more of an early morning thinker. It's really a time when I can be communing with God. So I really appreciate that simplicity. Yeah. And I've gone back and forth in a lot of different ways, and I think people can do this, about how I track prayer requests, how I keep track of people, or there have been times when I've had pages and pages of things that I would pray. One of the things that I frankly do in an interesting way is I will just pray my iMessage list, because I try to be in touch with people that are in need that I know about, and so when I page through those, it just reminds me of the people out there that I'm in constant contact with, and what their needs are. And frankly, iMessage is just a way for all of us. It's the way we interact with people sometimes. But there's a lot of people out that are in acute circumstances that I want to make sure I'm praying for. And it also reminds me not only to connect with God on behalf and to let God hear what my prayers are, but also invites me to connect with the people that are on, again, to go back through them again. And I'll sit sometimes here on the sofa like I do now, and I'll send out a series of text messages a couple times a week, where I just kind of go through that list, and I just send out, touch bases, and I think, again, that's communal, Kate. It's not individual, but it's communal, but it's the same thing. Because I think as this talks about in the Bible, prayer is something we don't ever really stop doing. Yeah. When we have, if we're putting on a caring heart, or we're sensitive to people's needs around us, or we're aware of people's needs around us, when Paul says pray without ceasing, I think in a lot of ways it's kind of a consciousness of the needs of people that are around us, that is also, I can just think a thought. When I'm driving in the car, sometimes I'll turn off the radio or a podcast or something, and then just take some time to think about the people I interacted with that day. And I'm not getting all eloquent in my prayers, in doing this. Yeah. But as I'm just driving, I just think about the people that I've been with today. And God knows what the needs are. God knows what the concerns are. And if God wants hope and healing and wholeness to be part of people's lives, then I just let them filter through. Yeah. Again, and so I don't. It doesn't have to be so formulaic as sitting, getting on your knees and folding your hands. It's just more of a consciousness. Yeah. That I find also to be practical in everyday life.
Yeah, just like an awareness.
An awareness, yeah.
Yeah, that's something I've had to learn. Just you don't always have to be super orthodox with your faith, but just as long as it's intentional and it's honest.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people, including me, that are kind of that experience worry and stress, especially with the politics of right now and just the climate of the world at the moment. Yeah. And I feel like I'm just kind of wondering, what would you say for like people looking for a source of comfort and a source of maybe stability in all of the chaos and hate of the world right now? What would you maybe like say to just like either find comfort or love within all of the negative environment?
Yeah, I think there's a lot going on in our world here today for sure, and not just this week or the past couple of weeks, but a lot of divisions and polarizations and so forth that can really pull us into a lot of different directions, and unfortunately a lot of those places can lead us to feel anxiety and anxiousness, or even hate and polarization that exists, that divides people. It's like we're just pushing against each other all the time. And I was told once that like I've got my fingers together here pushing against each other, just push. But if you were just figuring out a way to angle it just a little bit upward, then when you push, it has a way of elevating up to another level. And I think a lot of ways that if we could just get above kind of that, just leaning against each other, but leaning up a little bit more into where God and God's peace and grace is sufficient for us in Jesus. That's something that I don't want us to lose sight of. Lose sight of either. One of the things that there's a great Bible verse, be still and know that I am God, for instance. You maybe heard that before. But that's just something I'll find myself sometimes saying over and over again, be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Be still, or know that I am God. And so there's some mantra like that, sayings from Scripture, come to me, all of you who are weary and carrying heavy burdens, and I'll give you rest. Yeah. Come to me, all of you who are weary and carrying heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Those are just kinds of things to say. That's Jesus' words, that are desirous of us to know and to trust in the midst of things. The other thing that I think is helpful for me is that there's a lot of things out there that I can't control. I do think that some of the things that I can control, Kate, are some of the things that are just kind of right around me. And when I say can I control them, no, obviously I can't control them per se, but I know them, or I know the people. Yeah, they are unknown factors. They're not unknown. They're not out there. They're not on social media, or it's not news or kind of the crazy stuff that they think is important for me to know in a feed or in a post. It's just the people that are around me that I know. I know they care about me, and I know I care about them. And so one of the things that I try to do a lot these days is also to think and lead locally. What do I think is right? I think I want to be kind and generous. I want to be hopeful and joyful. Jesus is sufficient for us. And so if I can be that way here at St. Andrew, if I can work my local community here, my Michelle and my boys and you and the high school leadership team and others in the group, if we can just look after each other, know we're cared for and we're loved. That's what I mean by when I think local. All that other stuff it's hard to understand and hard to, what am I going to do about it? But I can do things and be about these things on the local side. Yeah. And so I try in a way that it minimizes all that big stuff out there into some stuff that's a little bit more doable, that's a little bit more real for Peter Johnson. Yeah. And so I think there's some value to that. So I think finding and cultivating, or just keeping your local friend group honest and strong and supported and love on it is really good. And the other thing that I would simply invite everyone to consider is is when I think local and I know people, these issues out there in the world are really complicated, and we can't lump people together into into particular places, because just when we do, they're going to surprise us.
Yeah.
And so if they think about one thing that might be somewhat polarizing, it doesn't make them think about everything that's polarizing in a way that you don't agree with, meaning that we can always find something in common with people.
For sure.
And so I think it's easier sometimes for us to find the things we don't have in common, because those kinds of things are so accentuated or they're so strong.
Yeah.
But I also think that we can benefit from thinking how we can keep things in common with people.
Yeah.
Is it important that that children feel loved and cherished? I mean, who disagrees with that? I could go on and on, but those kinds of things are where I think when I think local and my relationships with people, it doesn't matter how they voted, because how they voted doesn't define who they are.
Yeah. Because
there's so many there's so many other things that define who we are.
Yeah.
So I trust in these things. So.
Yeah. Your comment about strengthening your community and then also focusing on like what can you actually do, and you focusing on like your local impact, I think is so important to emphasize, just because I feel like so many people who are passionate about eliminating hate, eliminating division within communities and groups of people, I feel like you get so caught up in, oh my gosh, the weight of this issue is on my shoulders and I am responsible for fixing it, and people can be so susceptible to pressuring themselves and really just getting stuck in that, like almost defeating themselves with, and I know that I am someone who sometimes like gets caught up in that pressure of wanting to fix everything and wanting to accomplish all the things you're passionate about. So really grounding yourself in the reality and just in like that hope and that love and that accepting everyone for who they are and finding that common ground is so important.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, I think so. Something we need to practice doing and live,
of course,
and live by for sure.
Yeah.
And just think about defining friendship in a very wide way.
Yeah.
That's also what I mean too, that I have my people that I really know and I love and they love me. It's been 20, 30, 40 years or whatever, and family and things. But friendship is defined in a variety of ways and doesn't need to be defined narrowly. Yeah.
Yeah. I think expanding on like what you can control, I always go back to like living out your faith in daily life.
Yeah.
I always think of like, what would Jesus be doing? He'd be loving.
That's another mantra that really makes sense. What would Jesus do in a situation like this? And if your response is, how do I love my neighbor, which is one of the greatest commandments, love God and love your neighbor, then that kind of helps narrow it down into something manageable.
Exactly.
As much as we can. In that capacity, do something kind of like that. Then what would be loving? What would Jesus do? It's not a bad mantra either.
No, I feel like I wear the acronym WWJD on my wrist all the time, and I think that's been super helpful for me. Just like a constant reminder of like live the way Jesus wants you to live, and lead with love, and lead with compassion, and lead with understanding. I feel like
I think that's
something
really
that
good.
can be lost sometimes.
And then I also make a little change to that phrase to simply just share, the promise of our faith. It's not what would Jesus do, but what did Jesus do for Kate and for Peter and for all of our other listeners. So it kind of changes that argument or changes the phrase just a tad. He loved and died for us so that we might be free and to know love. And grace. And so that's what Jesus did for us, and now we try to follow what Jesus did, in the lives and our relationships and circumstances around us, no matter how complicated they get. In these days they are. But I hope that your leadership team and the other students in the high school group, that you can bond up and kind of be supporters and encouragers of each other in these complicated days.
Yeah.
Because that's where I think where God also shows up as well. So that you still know, I hope, what loving and good community feels like.
Yeah.
I think we also know what it doesn't feel like, and so let's work in the places where it doesn't, if in circumstances where it doesn't feel that way, so others might know what it feels like, rather than be on the outside of it. And that's, I think, where you talk about kindness and understanding and so forth, really, I think, bears fruit.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that especially talking about Wednesday night youth group, like we have, especially in the past, this school year especially, I think we've achieved this sort of like community where everyone comes together amidst like the stress of school, the stress of life, and we all just get to be ourselves and love each other and talk about faith in a scenario where you're not going to be judged. And I think that that's really important, and I'm certainly grateful for that community that's been cultivated, especially with the new leadership of Caleb and just with all of the new people coming. And
that's
I
awesome.
think it's grown a lot in a really positive way.
That's really, really great.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear it.
I'm really
We are
excited.
part of something so much bigger and so wonderful and so life-giving and joyful. That to be in a location where we can learn and grow, and trust it, and to be in good community, it makes me really glad.
Yeah.
Yeah, glad to hear it.
Well, on that note, thank you so much for meeting with me.
Yeah, thanks, Kate, for this afternoon, for the conversation, too. Anytime.
I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
All right.
Can you introduce yourself and share a little bit about your role at church?
Sure. So my name is Megan Kelly. My official title is Youth Ministry and Camp Coordinator here at St. Andrew. And basically what that means is I do a little bit of everything. So I help out mainly with our confirmation age ministry and middle school. And during the summer, I am up pretty much the whole time at our camp property, Spirit in the Pines. And in that role, it's a lot of admin stuff, plus just making sure that nothing's on fire and everybody goes home safe at the end of each week.
Speaking of camp, do you have a favorite camp tradition?
Oh, that's such a good question. One of my favorite ones that I personally started was including 2 rocks on the Pictionary list. Which was just like a random thing, and I was actually very confused as to why that still continued to be a thing. But in general, I also think that the former staff painting the pole in the AC is very cute. That unfortunately we might have to come up with a new solution soon because there is minimal space left on that thing.
What led you to work in ministry?
I kind of just happened into it. I moved to Minnesota when I was in 6th grade and knew literally nobody. And my teacher asked if there was anybody in our class who would be willing to take me around school and make sure I didn't get lost. And the person that raised their hand was Pop-Tart. And that was literally the only class we've ever had together. And eventually her twin brother stopped wanting to go to camp with her. And then she asked me if I wanted to go. And I said, sure, I've never done that. Like, I don't really go to church. And my first week was a little rough because I went in middle school. And at that point, lots of people have been going for, like, as long as they could. And, like, knew all the songs, knew all the prayers, all the games. And I felt very overwhelmed. But clearly that didn't deter me. I did it 3 summers as a camper, 3 summers as a counselor, went up as much as I possibly could, worked as summer staff for 3 summers, took a little bit of a break, and then kind of in the pandemic time, they were looking for some admin help behind the scenes, like getting camper registration up and going. I forgot what I was saying. Okay, pandemic time, admin stuff. Learned way more about our database than I honestly ever really cared to. But it was just very fun because especially at that point, I had been kind of away from it long enough where people that I had known as campers were now counselors and now even staff. So that's been a really fun transition and part of what, keeps me around, like seeing kids grow, and not only in their faith, but just like as people.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know you and Pop-Tart knew each other that long ago. That's so cool.
Arguably too long. But
what is your favorite part of working at St. Andrews?
ooh, favorite part. Well, I get to spend my summers at camp, which is very tiring but very fun. And like I said before, just watching everybody grow up from like second graders to adults. Like our first year camp staff now were like baby campers when I was on staff.
Aww.
Like I have a picture on my computer of 2015 maybe, and I know it's my hand because I recognize my watch, and it's like a 4th grade Riley Brazil stepping off the bus.
That's cute. And you can like look back and see everyone. Yeah. What advice would you give to someone looking to deepen their faith or get more involved in church?
Oh, great question. Because it's also my job, so I'm just usually here. But I think just like being curious and asking questions, even if you think it's a stupid question, like I guarantee someone else has asked it before. And I honestly think working with youth is great for that because kids are so curious. And especially the younger ones don't care if what they say is silly or makes sense. They just want to talk and be in community. And I think that's the easiest part. Is like once you get in that community, it becomes very easy.
Yeah. I think little kids definitely don't hold back on what they say sometimes.
Nope. I helped with Sunday school this past Sunday, and we were doing a game in the gym, and for the 10:30 service, there were only 4 kids that I had doing this basketball game, and they just wanted to talk about camp for the most part. But what did one of them ask me? Oh, they asked if I, like, it was something about, like, being an adult, and I was like, yeah, guys, I'm allowed to know this. And then one of them was like, yeah, you're, like, 40, and I said,
oh my gosh.
Okay, I appreciate that age means nothing to, like, a 9-year-old, but maybe I have been doing this. We're too familiar now.
Who were some of your biggest influences on your faith growing up?
Ooh. Well, pretty much up until, like, 6th grade, or actually even, if we're not including, like, that 1 week of summer camp, probably until, like, doing counselor training, probably, there wasn't really a big influence. Like, very recently, I learned my dad grew up Methodist. Surprising to me. My mom grew up Catholic, but she never really, like, did anything with that with me and my siblings. We went to, like, Christmas Mass occasionally, and we enjoyed that because it was at midnight, and we got to stay up and open our Christmas presents right away. And so I think a big influence would probably just be Pop-Tart, because she brought me to everything. And like what I consider in my mind, like the OG camp staff. Yeah. Just being able to have that good mix of like fun and faith at the same time.
Oh. Did you think that you were going to do something else when you were younger?
Yes. For the longest time, I wanted to be a dolphin trainer. I don't know, and like, I don't know why that was like such a thing that stuck not only with me, but as I've learned on the internet, apparently so many other people. But yeah, that part just didn't pan out, I guess.
I feel like I always think of the movie, I think it's like Dolphin Tale. I don't know if that's the name. Where they're like helping the dolphin.
Yes, with the prosthetic tail.
Yes, great movie. That's like what I think about when I think of like a dolphin trainer.
Yes. I remember, because where I used to live before was near Baltimore, so they have a big aquarium there, and they used to do dolphin shows. I don't know what your feelings are on the ethics of doing that, but I remember begging every single time we were somewhat near there to go and see the dolphin show. And that's just like, for some reason, a core memory, so I was like, yeah, I'm going to be a dolphin trainer, of course.
I mean, interesting.
My sister studied zoology, and she is currently a zookeeper.
That's really cool.
So, one of us is working with animals, at least. Not aquatic. She's mammals only.
Okay. I feel like that'd be interesting, though, to, like, work with all the different animals.
Yeah, I went to visit her at the last place she was working at, because a lot of positions are temporary, so the last one she was at ended after, like, 6 months or something. And it was in Garden City, Kansas, which is near nothing. That part's not important, but so I was flying in to like help her move, and she was able to take me on like a behind the scenes tour. We fed some giraffes and rhinos, and I watched an armadillo scuttle around and put peanut butter on my hand so an anteater could eat it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that one was weird. But how many people can say that?
I know. Not me. What is your favorite worship song, if you have one?
Ooh. A lot of my favorite ones are camp songs because I like the action part to it, because if I need to like focus or do something else with my hands, otherwise I don't have the best attention span. I really like Blind Man and The Rock. Another camp tradition Pop-Tart and I started was doing the rock, paper, scissors.
Oh.
So,
I
not
think
to brag.
I think it's fun when those like little things are in there, because I think it's also something fun that you learn, like the lean on me when everyone like leans.
Oh yeah.
And everything.
See that, as someone who's new and literally everyone around you is doing that, you're like, what did I get myself into?
That would be hard to catch on to. How do you continue to grow your faith while leading others?
Ooh. I mean, I think that goes back to like the questions part, and that's part of like our new mission and vision as St. Andrew. Is part of it is cultivating faithful curiosity and just kind of accepting that you're never going to know the answers. So even if you're in a group and kids are bombarding you with questions, I don't know is a valid answer. It's like, well, I can go look this up and we can go talk to someone who probably knows more than me. But just being open to all answers and knowing that you definitely do not have them all.
Yes. Do you have like a special God moment of working here, or like a really memorable moment?
I have two that came to mind. One was from the last retreat. There was a camper who was very hesitant to play a new game, because how it works at their school is that if someone like messes up or
It's Lily.
oh is that like if someone like messes up, you're fine.
You want to come sit with us?
He's not in. He's out sick and injured. Sorry. Yeah, you can come sit. Pop a spot. You can hold my squishmallow. So there was a camper who was very hesitant to play a new game because at their school, when you mess up in a game or something, you get made fun of and sometimes even beaten up. It was like, whoa, that's not how things work here.
Yeah.
It's okay. They still didn't want to play that game, but when we transitioned to another game, some of their cabin mates were very encouraging and kind of helped them understand the rules. And then they were very happy playing this new game, and that was just very heartwarming to see. And the second one was last year. We did a dinner to thank all of our confirmation leaders, and there was one who he had just kind of said goodbye to his group because he had them from 6th through 8th grade and they were just confirmed. And I told him a story about one of his 8th graders that on his stole, one of the things that he wrote was Psalm 23, which was something that this leader had talked to them about pretty much every single class. And it stuck out so much to this kid that he put it on his stole. And when I told the leader that, he started crying.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So, which almost made me start crying.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I
that
feel
was
like,
a pretty impactful moment.
Yeah, I feel like I would have started crying. Or like, especially when other people cry, I feel like I'd cry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of all the questions I have. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. This was fun.
I'll just start talking.
Hi, everyone. This is Lily from the St. Andrew High School leadership team, and I'm here with...
Zach, hello.
Okay, so we're going to start with the fun questions.
Should I say who I am?
Yeah,
I don't think people will know.
Okay.
I'm Zach Benz, the social media and communications manager now.
That says coordinator.
Yeah, but this is an old name too.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay. I guess that was one of my questions. So,
Oh.
One of my questions was, what is your job title, and like, what does that entail?
So I do a lot of the digital communications here. I do social media, website updates across the board. I do worship prep, so all the slides and stuff that you see in worship, I prepare those throughout the week with Tim. I do the bulletin, I make sure events are on the website, process communications forms from ministry teams. I take every photograph that you see is one that I take. Yeah, so anything that goes out digitally is something I do, except for the emails.
Okay.
I refuse.
Okay. What is your favorite show or movie, and why?
Can I do both?
Yeah.
My favorite show is Smallville,
Okay.
and my favorite movie is Titanic.
Okay. Why?
Smallville is, I'm a big Superman fan, and that's like the origin story of Superman. One of the stories that someone, like one of the retellings of Superman's coming of age, it inspired me to become a journalist, which is what I went to college for. And Titanic is because it's just a cinematic masterpiece.
I don't think I've ever actually seen the Titanic.
All right, this is over.
Okay. Favorite song and why?
Oh, jeez. This is a terrible title, but it's a really good song. Let Me Drown by Orville Peck.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just Orville Peck is a gay country music star, and I recently discovered him, and the lyrics are just inspiring and relatable for me, and his voice is incredible, and I just love the song, even though it's really sad.
Yeah. Okay, favorite food?
Sushi.
Why?
It's delicious. I don't know what else to say.
No, but it's good. What's your favorite sushi place?
Ooh, I would have to say Wasabi up in Duluth.
Oh, okay.
It's an all-you-can-eat sushi place.
Oh, I think I've been there.
Yeah, it's on Superior Street or Lake Street up there. I don't remember what the main stretch is. I went to school there, and I would go there with my college best friend, Tran, all the time. She introduced me to sushi. Before that, I was kind of a bland eater because I was raised in Hibbing and raised by my grandparents, and I think sushi just changed my life, so that's why it's my favorite.
Okay. Favorite drink and why?
Favorite drink?
Like, yeah.
Let's see. Well, I would have to say, so I like a lot of things to drink, like pop, water, iced tea. I don't drink alcohol, so there's no choices there. My favorite drink that my friends find me weirdly obsessed with, but I just enjoy it, is eggnog.
Oh, okay.
I love eggnog. One of my fondest memories was having Thanksgiving at the farm with my grandparents, my sisters, and my mom there. We didn't have a lot of holidays with my mom, but the first time I tried eggnog, my grandma let me drink it out of one of her fancy wine glasses.
Oh.
And I remember my mom sitting there right next to me watching my reaction as I drank it. So that's why I like it. And it tastes good.
Yeah. Okay. What is your dream house?
Oh, goodness. Have you ever seen Superman the movie from 1978?
No.
Lois Lane's penthouse condo apartment there. It's a tiny little house looking thing on the top of a skyscraper in New York with a beautiful landscaped garden on the rooftop terrace.
Okay.
I would love that.
I feel like there's something like that in Chicago.
Yeah. I mean, there's stuff like that here in Minneapolis, or here in the cities too. Preferably, I would want to stay in Minneapolis because I love the big city yet small city vibe that it gives, and it's close proximity to things like farms and nature and yeah.
Okay, what's your favorite city?
I don't know. Minneapolis.
Okay. Okay, how long have you worked here?
I worked at St. Andrew since my official first day was in June 2022.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple years now.
How many is that?
It
2,
will be
3?
3 years in June.
Yep. Okay. How did you become interested in this job?
That's a really good question. I needed a job. That's how I first got it. It's actually very fascinating because I didn't think I would stay at this job very long, or as long as I did.
Yeah.
I was unemployed for a while after being laid off from my previous job and on the brink of losing my apartment, and I just was applying to all these corporate positions for communications because all the newspaper positions I applied for were not getting back to me quickly enough. And then I was like, you know what? I have experience volunteering at my church that I grew up at. So I will try to apply at churches. And this was actually the first church I applied to and got hired after a few interviews. And my job has changed a lot since I started, but I am very happy with this place. It became more than a job. It became it became my new church, even though I'm not technically a member, but I just came to love everybody here and really enjoyed the environment, and it challenged me in a lot of ways. I got to be creative in a lot of other ways, but I also got back in touch with my roots, with my faith especially.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you mentioned a little bit ago, like, journalism, and that was your major in college.
Yes.
So you also write for the Daily Planet.
I do. Flips hair. It's just
okay, what is your favorite article you have written, and what was it about?
Dang. Oh my goodness. I don't know.
How many articles have you written?
For the Daily Planet or just in general?
Just in general.
I'd have to say over 100.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot. I would have to say that my favorite article, though, wasn't even in the Daily Planet. Well, actually, I have two favorite articles. One was in the Daily Planet, and it tied into where I worked in college, the Bark. Mm-hmm. My favorite article at the Bark was about open and affirming churches that welcomed the LGBTQ community in Duluth. It was kind of a guide for queer people to go find a place of worship and reconnect with their faith, because a lot of people have church hurt in that community. So I thought trying to find, like, doing the work for people so they can go find a place of worship would be fun.
Yeah.
And then the one for the Daily Planet was when I personally came out. It was via the Daily Planet, and it has a quote from my grandma, because before I published it, I called my grandmother who raised me, and I was like, I don't know if I should publish this, I'm so scared, blah, blah, blah. And she gave me this quote. I'm going to paraphrase it here, but she's like, we have to do what's best for ourselves. And that article ends with that quote, and it's just really meaningful to me.
Yeah.
So.
Nice. Okay, what is your favorite article you've read?
Oh, geez Louise. Oh, my goodness. Let's see. Oh, my gosh.
We can also start with what's your favorite article you've edited?
Oh, that I've edited?
Yes.
recently, I've edited an article that was submitted to the Daily Planet after Donald Trump first, like when he was at his rally in Pennsylvania and got his the first assassination attempt. That one was fun to edit because it was a long time since I've edited a news article like that. My favorite one, though, to edit would have been, I think, this article on what we would call the Bulldog of the Month at UMD for the Bark. Her name escapes me now, but I was in it was a student who needed a lot of assistance with the article. He was a first-time interview, and it was like my third year at college, and I was like shadowing him.
Yeah.
And it was really fun to help somebody else grow in their, like, to help plant the seeds of journalism with somebody else. So I'd say that was my favorite editing experience, because I was there while he did the interview, I was there while he wrote it, and I was there editing it afterwards. So it was really great to be so involved with the piece. It wasn't just something that came across my desk, it was something that helped somebody else in a great way. I think that would have been my favorite,
Okay. And your favorite article you've read?
My favorite article I've read? Oh my gosh. Gosh, it's something in the New Yorker, I would say. Those are always a great read. And it was about, it's kind of political, but it was about the 2024 election, and I think it was before Joe Biden dropped out. And it was an article stating that Kamala Harris would be a cool president, and it was I think, I mean, it was way more in depth than that, but the New Yorker reads like a novel, and I think that just was really engaging. Yeah, I can't remember what the article's name was, so.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
You gotta stop asking such hard questions.
I have two more.
Oh,
So
are they
we're almost
hard?
done. I don't know.
Oh,
Maybe. Okay. So you take all the pictures here at St. Andrew. What is your favorite picture you've taken here?
Oh, there are so many. Oh my gosh. I'd have to say, this one is this. Yeah, I took this picture after. Okay, I can't choose one, but this one is like my most impactful, I think.
Yeah.
It was our previous senior pastor, David Lilliard's last service. Every Sunday, every service, the pastors walk down the aisle back towards the back door to close out the service. And it was his last walk. And I captured that moment. Everybody was standing behind him, looking at the altar, and he was solemnly walking back. And it was really powerful. And it was totally accidental because I was like just standing there watching, and I'm like, oh, that's going to be a cool photo. So any photo like that where it's like accidentally great is my favorite. There's also one of Shauna when she got shot in the face by the confetti cannon, and I got the moment. Or the one where Pastor Sarah was sprayed with silly string by all the kids in Shine, and she's just looks so stunned but very happy. Like, what happened? That one was great too.
Yeah. I remember that. You showed me that one photo about,
And then there's also one from VBS where the kids are under the parachute, and they're just so overjoyed about it. And it's so cute because all their t-shirts are so big.
Yes.
So you just see their little feet.
Okay, last question. What is your favorite picture you have taken just in general? Like overall?
That's a good question. You know, I've taken many, many, many photos, but I'd have to say one of my favorites is when I was at my first Pride parade down here. It was my first Pride ever, I was down here, and it's a picture of a pride flag waving, and everybody's fists is up like in a powerful pose. It was such a photo of solidarity for me, coming from a conservative community to that. I think that's one of my favorites. Anything that really impacts me emotionally and personally, I would say it is my favorite.
Yeah.
I have also a picture of my grandma sitting at the kitchen looking at her phone like she used to always do, and it's so like, it's like an old painting of my grandma at her perch, we called it, where she would sit at the kitchen and look out at the birds and stuff. So that one's one of my favorites as well.
Nice. Okay. Do you have anything else? Last words?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
Do you have any more questions?
I don't.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yeah.
This was fun. This was a
Thank
lot
you
more
for-
painless than I thought it was going to be. I thought you were going to ask some very deep personal
Oh, well.
questions. So thank you.
Yep.
All right, goodbye, everybody.
Bye.